Hello there everyone, welcome to another Italian pronunciation video, this time for the aria O cessate di piagarmi from the 24 Italian aria book, or the 26 Italian aria book depending on which edition you have. We will explore the tips and tricks to help you sing your aria without accent, and also discuss the proper open and closed vowels and other non-phonetic things such as phrasal doubling and assimilation. Before we do that, please direct your attention to the description of this video in the box below. You will find various links to my websites, my Facebook fan page. Please give me a like and a visit if you have a moment. Also, there's a link to the pronunciation dictionary on the Italian RAI site. So you may follow that link below or type into a search engine RAIDOP. When you go to the site, you can type in any Italian word and there's a playback button. You can hear the word pronounced by a native Italian speaker. Also, there are complete lines of text and demonstrates non-phonetic Italian things such as phrasal doubling and assimilation. If you're new to those terms, by watching a few of my videos, you should have a firm grasp of what I'm talking about. You'll find that I've written out the text to the aria so you can follow along as we go. So it's a very short text, so let's just do it first line by line, and then I'll break it down word by word, and we'll go over a lot of the mistakes I'll hear in auditions or coachings or performances, and also some tips to hone your Italian. So here we go. Here's the line by line. O cessate di piagarmi, o lasciatemi morir. Luci ingrate, dispietate, più del gɛlo e più del marmi. Fredde ssorde a miɛi martir. So I went really slowly so that you could follow along. The next time I read it through, I'll read it through at normal speed. So now let's go through word by word and examine each word and all of the things that could go wrong, or all of the things that we could do really well. Okay, so here we go. So the first word is O, right? And that's a closed O. O's in Italian are a non-phonetic vowel, meaning they can either be open or closed. The open form is like AW, the word saw in English. The word O is like the closed O is like O in oats, right? So now the difference between English and Italian is when I say oats, I have a glide. So if I were to do that in slow motion, you'd slowly see my jaw move and go to an E, right? So I would go oats, right? So this is very bad when you're singing Italian, because an Italian would say oats and not stop, you see, and not move, right? It just stays, right? Same thing with the word SAW, saw. That's our open O. It's also this open O in Italian. Now in English, I would say saw. And my jaw, I'm exaggerating the motion of my jaw, but you see what happens. It slowly goes to an I vowel, right? So in Italian, I would say saw, right? Open. And it wouldn't stop. It wouldn't move into the next vowel. So the Italian vowels are pure because they don't move like that. So we can also say they don't harmonize, right? So in English, vowels harmonize to everything around them. In Italian, they do not. Okay. So now the next word, cessate, has several mistakes you can make. The first thing is that the first E is a closed E. So now, as we talked about with O, E comes in two forms, A or A. And despite what you may have heard, it is important that you distinguish, because sometimes the words change meaning as you open and close them. So in this case, it happens to be A, right? So the Italian A. So the closed E is like the A in say, right? S-A-Y. The open is like head, right? Like to get ahead, right? So it's open right? So the same thing happens in English when I say head, my jaw moves, right? And if I say hey, like hey is for horses, right? Hey, I slowly close to an E vowel, right? In Italian, that doesn't happen. I would say hey, right? Hey, not hey, right? And head, right? So not that the word head exists in Italian, but you see the point. The vowel does not harmonize. So in this instance, cessate. If I were to break the vowels, a, e. Those are my vowels. They are pure. They do not move. It is not a, right? So those don't move. So the first thing to get rid of your accent as an English speaker is to check to see if you have glides in your vowels when you're singing. So now the printed A is always ah, no matter what position of the word it is. And then we have another A in this word. Now, we also have single consonants and double consonants, right? So we have a single T, we have a double S. So let's go over how we do double S. When we're speaking, we can say cessate. See, so that's a double S. Cessate, single S, cessate, right? So when you sing, you have to do in slow motion. So if I were speaking, that S could hiss a little bit on the first syllable, and that's okay in speech. In singing, it's very dangerous because what would happen is you'll start to hiss on the sibilant and not have any pitch. So you lose phonation. So I hear a lot of singers singing, oh, chase, and it's too early to put the S in, right? What you want is che, sa on the next note. Right? So when you're singing, oh, che, sa, that's where the S goes. Okay, does that make sense? So you practice that. The next thing is we have single T versus double T. So let's go over how we do double T first of all. Say the word for all, tutto, right? Tutto. How do we do double T? Well, we do it by stopping phonation, right? Now, do we do double T by doing two T's? I ask you that question. Think about it for a moment. No, we don't do two T's. What we do is we go up to the T and then we don't say it like this. Tutto. And that's a double T, right? So, and also, do I shorten the vowel before? Tutto. No, that's too short, right? Tutto. So that's double T. So you go up to the T, you stop, you don't say it, and then you say it. The space is what makes the double T. You actually stop phonating. You stop your vocal cords, right? Tutto. Okay, so in this case, we have a single T. So the mistake would be to do a double T. And this is what I often hear. I often hear cessate. See? Wrong, right? Why? I stopped phonation. So if you're singing and you record yourself and you hear that stoppage, you're singing a double T. That is incorrect. So how do we do single T? Well, we keep the ah vowel going. Don't think about the T. Think about the ah. Cessate. You see the ah goes right up to the T without any stop in phonation. Single T, cessate. Double T, cessate. So you hear the difference very, very clearly. Okay, so I hope that breaks it down for you. Now the word di is of, and that is a weak monosyllable. For some odd reason, non-Italian singers love to double the P, right? So I often hear, o cessate di piagarmi. And you see double P is done exactly the same way that double T is. Now, did you realize that in your effort, you're always trying to do double consonants in the right place, but did you realize that you're often doing double consonants in the wrong place, right? So that's just as bad as leaving the ones that are there out, right? So the most important thing that if you want to improve your Italian, double the consonants that are doubled. Don't double the ones that are not doubled. So this is di piagarmi, right? So P-I-A, the I is what is known as a semi-vowel. So it's like a Y. Pia, right? Piagarmi. So there are two A's, not neutralized. And the semi-vowel is like a Y, or so we're told, right? But how is a Y different in Italian than in English? Think about it. If we say, as non-Italian speakers or English speakers, especially American speakers, we say yellow, the color, right? Yellow. Where is the Y? It's back here. Yellow. Where's the L? It's down. An Italian would say yellow. From an E position, you see? So the Y starts from an E. Now, you don't say the E when it's a semi-vowel, right? But if I think American Y for piagarmi, where am I? I'm down here, right? If I think E, say I exaggerate it and I do the E. This is incorrect, right? This is not a semi-vowel. But if I said piagarmi, right? Now, I start from the E without saying it. Piagarmi. Now, you see, it's now Italian. So remember that when you're doing semi-vowel, to start in the proper position, from the E position, right? It's a semi-vowel in that case because we don't say it. Okay, so now notice that the word O, you're probably wondering, I went on, both times the interjection O is followed by a double consonant. Now, why is that? Well, the O is a strong monosyllable. Now, notice I talked about a weak monosyllable, the DI. Well, weak monosyllables are actually fewer than strong monosyllables in Italian. So no Italian would say o cessate, would say o cessate. See that little double C? And that double ch is exactly the same as the double T. You go up to it, you don't say it. O cessate. Now, the reason for this is the existence of strong monosyllables. And that's the only reason why. So one syllable words that cause the next word, if it starts with a consonant, to double, and it's not written. So this is what I call non-phonetic Italian, right? So most Italian diction classes, you don't cover non-phonetic Italian. Now, very few books even talk about this, right? Now, Evelina Colorni's book, Singer's Italian, has a list of all the strong monosyllables. So she covered non-phonetic Italian in her books. So if you go to Evelina Colorni's book, I don't know if you've seen it, it's a green book. It has the list of all the words. It's about 4 or 5 pages from the end, all the words that cause phrasal doublings. Now, I've made a video, and I've linked to it below, on all about phrasal doublings, so if you want to check it out if you're interested in that subject. I go through all of the words that cause phrasal doublings, and I have the list in my description box, so check that out if you have a moment. So notice that we have o llasciatemi, right? So we have a double L because of the word O. And then we also have o cessate. Okay, so now let's talk about double L. Double L is formed by keeping the L phonating. Now notice it's the opposite of a double T or a double CH, right? So how we do a double T? By stopping phonation, right? Tutto, stop the phonation. O llasciatemi. Now I exaggerated that, but you see, I do a double L by keeping my tip of my tongue on the roof of my palate and continuing to phonate. So if you're singing, there is actual pitch while you hold that L, and you actually exaggerate it, right? Oh, like that. Does that make sense? Good. So now, SCI in Italian is like a double consonant when you sing, right? So often non-Italian singers will put the sh on the wrong note, okay? And I will demonstrate. So say you have 3 notes. The first note is O, the second note is La, and the third note is sh, sha, right? So what normally happens when I hear people sing is O, la, sh on the second note. Wrong. O, la, sha, Does that make sense? So when you say it, there's actually a space. O lasciatemi. O lasciatemi. Do you see what I mean? It's a double consonant because the phonation stops for just a millisecond and that makes it very clean. You don't end up with the sh in between the notes, which you don't want. Okay? And every Italian in the world will sing la sha, right? It's not la sha with the sh on the first note. Okay, so now in this case, lasciatemi, the accent is on the ah, right? And the e is a closed e, right? So notice that when it's closed e, I print it as it is. And the reason for that is that's the way IPA is. And when it's open e, you have the e with the rounded edges. And I don't believe there is one open O in this whole thing, but if you saw another aria that had an open O, the IPA would be the broken circle with the breakage on the left of the O, right? That's the IPA symbol. Okay, so morir. Morire is the real word. There's an E at the end usually, right? Morir. Now notice that one R rolls, and that the R in piagarmi rolled. So when do we roll R and when do we flip R? Notice that in morir, I'm flipping the first R, morir, and I'm rolling the second R. Now why is that? Well, R's that touch a consonant or are final and touch nothing, they roll. So any R that touches a consonant, you roll. Any R that's surrounded by vowels, you flip, like that. One single tick of the R. Morir, right? Now, the other thing is it's not that's an American R. It's not even a consonant in American English. It's an actual vowel, right? It's like a it's a vowel. It's not a consonant, right? So be careful when you roll an R. I see people who can roll R's beautifully, but then they go to an American position. So they go more, and then they roll the R, and they're going all around and around. It's the vowels first. Think about the vowels. O, E, right? And then orir. So we don't let the vowels harmonize ever in Italian. Going on. So the word luce is the real word. Now that's cut off for the poetry. So ingrate. So ingrate. What happens to the N? The N does what is called an assimilation. So think about the gr, where you're going to start that. To do gr, you use the middle of your tongue to make the G, right? The G. Notice just if you go G, ga, ga, you're doing that with the middle of your tongue. Well, the N is said with the middle of your tongue, not the tip of your tongue. It's not ingrate, right? It's not, this is my tongue right here, what I'm doing with my hand, right? It's not ingrate, it's ingrate. So I'm right there with the middle of my tongue. So if you haven't been using the middle of your tongue to make that N, you're doing a little more extra work than you need to. Notice that the R rolls, and it's a single T. Dispietate. Okay, so we've already had semi-vowel, right? The I, one I is a true vowel, D. But the next one is a semi-vowel, spie, right? And you'll see that written as a J in IPA, right? Dispietate, dispietate. So what are the mistakes we can make? Of course, it's going to be the double T, right? Most of the time, I'm going to hear dispietate. Wrong, right? Dispietate. So on a multi-syllable word like this, you could just practice the vowels, do what I call as a purity test. E, A, I. You see how that feels? Let it flow. E, A, I. Now, when you put the consonants back in, it feels exactly the same. Dispietate. Okay, good. Going on. Più, right? So here we have a semi-vowel and an u, and u is always u in Italian, u, right? Più. Più is a strong monosyllable, so notice we say più del gɛlo. Okay, so now we have an open E, right? So del is a closed E, del, gɛlo is an open E. Now, it's very easy for an American or non-Italian speaker to double the L when there's an open L. So we will usually avoid putting an open O. I mean, open E here, right? So we'll say gɛlo, but it's gɛlo, gɛlo, right? So gɛlo is what we'll usually say if we open it, right? Wrong, double L, right? So remember how we do single L, gɛlo. How do I do it? I don't let the L phonate for a minute. If I let the L phonate for even a millisecond, gɛlo, it's double L, you see? Gɛlo. And going on. The word a is a closed E. That's the word and. You'll see the word E also printed with an accent. That's the word for is, and that's open. So if I say he is, it's a. If I say and, it's a. Both of those words are strong monosyllables, and they cause a phrasal doubling, right? So notice this line goes più del gɛlo e più del marmi. Now, notice that I could have doubled the D after più the second time, but it's too much. It becomes ugly. It becomes clunky, right? So if I said, say I doubled everything, watch, it's going to sound ugly. Più del gɛlo e più del marmi. See how I started to get stuck? So the second time I choose to double the P after A. So the rule is when you have two strong monosyllables in a row, try to pick one. Don't do both when you sing. You might be able to pull it off when you speak, but when you sing, it becomes very not elegant. Marmi. So again, the R rolls because it touches a consonant. Here's a double D. So Fredde. Same thing. I go up to the D. I don't say it. Fredde. Notice that it's a closed E before a double consonant. So let's go over the rules of open and closed E's and O's, okay? The first thing where there's always a rule is that anything that falls on the unaccented syllable of a word is a closed vowel. That is in speech, right? Now, some voice teachers will have you open. That's fine, as long as we can hear that it's more closed than the stressed. Now, the stressed vowels in Italian can either be open and closed, or closed, and you have to memorize them. That's the bad news. So, again, the unstressed are all closed, A or O, right? So in this case, like in every word, you always know that the unstressed vowel is going to be closed. So if we look at the word Fredde, the accent is on the first E. Then we have to memorize that's a closed E. The second E, we don't even have to worry. We know it's closed. Fredde, right? It's not Fredde. Now, if you've seen them open in diction books, that's just so that you don't close down your voice, right? People understood that those were closed vowels, and that singers tended to open them for vocal technique. Okay, let's go on. Here we have another stressed O, but it's closed. Ssorde, O, so, ssorde. You see how I got there? O, so, ssorde. And that's the easy way to get your vowels pure. Miɛi. So here you have three vowels in a row, and two of them are technically semi-vowels. Notice how the first one is like a Y from the E position. Miɛi. And you have to get to an open E. Miɛi. And it goes around in your mouth like that. And then final word, martir. Martire is the original. Notice that the R at the end is going to roll when it doesn't touch anything, right? So if you had the full word written out with the A at the end that's been cut off, is martire, the R flips. And if you leave it like this, it rolls. Martir. So both of those R's roll. So now let's go through the whole thing, and I'll read it at a faster clip this time. And this will be another line by line reading. O cessate di piagarmi, o lasciatemi morir. Luci ingrate, dispietate, più del gɛlo e più del marmi. Fredde ssorde a miɛi martir. Now, if you notice that last time, remember the doubling line where I doubled, well, I think I doubled it exactly as written. I can't remember exactly what I did. I did the ppiù this time. I was wondering as I did it if I picked the other one from what I had written, but I think I did. So let me read that line one more time. Più del gɛlo e più del marmi. So that's the way it's written down. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe and please give me a like. And as always, we'll see you at the opera. Thanks again for watching.